Hello and welcome back to Scout Report. It might be a bit too early to definitively say, but there are some players who've had a torrid start at their new respective clubs. Although a long way to go in the season, here's 5 players who have flopped so far. 5. Luuk de Jong. There are a number of players from La Liga who could easily have made our list, with the likes of Eden Hazard, Luka Jovic and Antoine Griezmann all having slow starts at their new clubs. However, with fitness and a lack of playing time being partly responsible for this, we've opted for Sevilla's new striker, Luuk de Jong, who is heavily featured for the side but is still yet to find the net. The 29-year-old joined Spanish side from PSV for £11 million, a reasonable price considering de Jong's outstanding record in Holland. In 204 games for PSV, the Dutchman was involved in 169 goals, scoring 112 of those. The big man was clinical in the Eredivisie and remains the highest goalscorer in the league this decade. But the former 20 player has never hit those heights outside of his homeland, struggling in spells at Mönchengladbach, Newcastle and now Sevilla. Predominantly known for his ability in the air, scoring almost half of his goals for PSV with his head, de Jong's aerial prowess seems less effective in Spain. In fact, his aerial duels won are down from 8.9 per 90 last season to 5.7 per 90 this term. That's still impressive and it is the 5th highest in the league, but nevertheless a decline from last season. The Netherlands international is also down on shots, taking 2.6 per game for Sevilla compared to 4.5 per PSV in 2018-19. His latest shot rate is certainly not bad and actually surpasses Atletico Madrid's new signing João Felix. However, half of de Jong's shots are with his head and are often not considered quality chances. He is also massively underperforming according to expected goals. The Swiss-born striker has 0 goals to his name at his new club in 7 appearances, but XG states that he should have 4. That's the biggest underperformance in La Liga based on expected goals, with only Celta Vigo's Iago Aspas coming close. With a rotten record outside of Holland, de Jong's woes abroad look to continue, and if the goals don't start coming soon, we wouldn't be surprised to see him return to the Netherlands in the summer. 4. Matthijs de Ligt. From one Dutchman to another, the former Ajax captain was at the centre of one of the biggest transfer sagas of the summer, following an extraordinary season in Holland. The 20-year-old was linked with a host of big clubs, opting to join Italian champions Juventus. The club made de Ligt the most expensive defender in Serie A history when they spent £67.5 million on the skipper, their 3rd highest ever transfer, behind only Cristiano Ronaldo and Gonzalo Higuain. De Ligt was a key figure at Ajax, making 117 appearances for the club and scoring 13 goals, not bad for a centre-back. And the 6'2" mountain played a huge part in Ajax's double-winning season and impressive Champions League run, narrowly missing out on the final to Spurs. His leadership qualities and consistently strong performances earned him a place in FIFA's Best XI of 18-19 and the Dutch Footballer of the Year award. With trophies and personal accolades already to his name, Juve look to have made great business acquiring his services. However, it's not been the best start to life in Italy for de Ligt. In the 7 appearances he's made for the club so far, he's looked shaky at times. Particularly on his debut where he shipped in 3 goals against Napoli and against Inter Milan where he rather clumsily conceded a penalty with a foolish handball. At the time of writing, the Netherlands international is winning 1.8 tackles and interceptions per 90, poor in comparison to last season where he managed 2.9 in the Champions League. He's also down on aerial duels, winning 0.8 headers per 90 in Serie A, much lower than the 4.2 he made per 90 in the UCL last term. His rookie start hasn't been helped by his team's hit-and-miss performances, conceding 11.7 shots per game, the 4th best in the league, but not up to Juve's high standards. De Ligt may soon improve, but he's currently some way off the form he showed at Ajax, form he'll need to revive if he's to justify such a hefty price tag. 3. Ayoze Pérez. It's fair to say Ayoze Pérez has not had the best start to life at Leicester. The 26-year-old became the Fox's 2nd most expensive player when they splashed £30 million on him in the summer. The Spanish striker comes off the back of a strong season at Tyneside where he scored 13 goals, the most in the team, and his best tally in a Newcastle shirt. He ended the campaign strong, scoring 11 of those goals in 2019. Impressive no doubt, but we can't help but think Leicester signed Perez on a bit of a whim. At the time of writing, he's made 150 Premier League appearances with 41 goal involvements to his name. Not too bad for a player who's often played out on the wing. But playing in the same role that Mahrez once filled at Leicester, Perez's numbers don't come close. The Algerian contributed 71 goals in his first 150 Premier League games and is still sorely missed at the King Power. Pérez has shown glimpses of his quality in the blue shirt, but is ultimately underperforming, with no goals and just 1 assist in 7 Premier League games for the club. The ex-Tenerife man has looked less dangerous this term, taking 0.7 shots per 90, that's less than half of last season's 1.5. He's also laying on less chances for his teammates, with 1.2 key passes per 90 last term, dropping down to 0.7 this campaign. The Spaniard's frustration was there for all to see when he got into a little scrap with Liverpool's Andy Robertson after the final whistle had blown in their recent narrow defeat. The former Newcastle striker had arguably his best game against his old club in their 5-0 hammering back in September. However, he still failed to find the net and looked short of confidence in front of goal. His expected goals and assists per 90 currently stands at 0.2, considerably less than the 0.45 he put up in 17-18. He also has the lowest rate of any attacking player to have featured this season in the Leicester squad. Luckily for Pérez, his side's strong results and performances have overshadowed his poor start. 2. Joelinton. Newcastle have been struggling for goals all season and haven't been helped by Joelinton's almost non-existent goal output. The 23-year-old has looked a lonesome figure up front for the Magpies and is struggling to fill the boots of Solomon Rondon. The Brazilian joined Tyneside for £40 million from Hoffenheim, a huge amount of money for a club who had never spent over £25 million on the player. A big gamble on an unproven Premier League striker, but Joelinton does boast some solid numbers. The forward first made his name in Austria with 30 goal involvements in 79 appearances for Rapid Vienna. Then earning a move to Germany where in his one season at Hoffenheim, he contributed 20 goals in all competitions, more than anyone managed at Newcastle last campaign. However, Joelinton currently looks some way off the form with just 1 goal in 8 Premier League games. In his defence, he's playing in a team that looks short of creativity and ideas, with Steve Bruce's side scoring just 5 goals in 8 league games, the second lowest in the division. But is the forward doing enough to help matters? At the time of writing, Joelinton has taken 1.6 shots per 90, that's down from 2.4 he was taking at Hoffenheim. He is also down on dribbles with 0.9 per game, half of what he managed in Germany. And so unsurprisingly, this puts his expected goals and assists this season at just 0.26 per game, way lower than last term's 0.59 and significantly less than the likes of Watford striker Andre Gray's 0.69. Particularly poor considering the Hornets sit bottom of the league and Gray has played the same amount of games as Joelinton. The South American may take a lot of the blame for Newcastle's lack of goals, but his teammates must shoulder the burden. Losing Pérez was a huge blow to the side, and Almiron is still struggling to adapt to the Premier League. The Paraguayan had 43 goal involvements in 70 games for Atlanta. However, in England, he's yet to register a goal or an assist in 18 games. Joelinton may not have suffered as bad a drop off just yet, but he'll need to seriously improve if he's to be deemed anything less than a flop. 1. Nicolas Pepe. 2018-19 was an outstanding season for Pepe, playing a huge role in Lille securing second spot in Ligue 1, their highest league finish since 2011. Fast forward a season though, and the French-born winger is looking a shadow of his former self. The 24-year-old was heavily linked with Europe's elite clubs in the summer, and it was Arsenal who splashed the cash on the forward, making him their record signing for a whopping £72 million, £50 million more than their club's previous record rival, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. An awful lot of money, but Pepe's performances for Lille justified the price. In 2 seasons for the club, he scored 35 and assisted 15 in 74 Ligue 1 games. That's 10 more goal involvements than Angel Di Maria managed in that time. And in 18-19, the Ivory Coast international had his best season to date, tearing up the French league with 22 goals and 11 assists. Only Kylian Mbappe contributed to more goals in the league last term. Pepe was pivotal to Lille's success, being directly involved in 47% of their 68 league goals. A star of French football, Pepe is yet to make his mark in the Premier League. At the time of writing, he has just 1 goal and 3 assists in 10 appearances for the Gunners. Not great when considering his only goal came from a penalty in Arsenal's 3-2 win over Aston Villa. The former Lille man looks low on confidence and was particularly poor in the North London side 1-1 draw with Manchester United, completing just 74% of his passes. There are some glimmers of hope though, with 1.5 key passes per 90, only topped by Saka in the squad, and 3.1 dribbles per 90, up from last season's 2.7. Some positives at least, but Arsenal's record signing has ultimately disappointed, evidenced by his expected goals and assists per 90 ratio, dropping from 0.85 in 18-19 to 0.55 in 19-20. It's early days for Pepe, but he'll need to start firing soon before Emery and the fans start losing their patience. So that was 5 players we think are the biggest transfer flops this season. Well, not me specifically, that was Danny Pepe who wrote the script. So if you have any hate, send it towards him in the comments below. And as always people, stay locked in, keep the notification button pressed, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.